Oh, so we're already getting into it. Nice.
Wait, wait. Oh, we did start. Hello.
Hello. So, welcome everyone to this the race today. Like how we already found the underworld, about 4 rooms in.
Good. These are one of these rooms that you would like to just get done early, because you know none of those gifts are gonna have anything worthwhile in it. You'll get like a insignificant item or a pair of socks, so you don't even have to. Also, no spawns is really good.
So, for anyone new or that may be newcomer to watching these, this is the second round of the tournament. I guess we saw technically the play-in match earlier today between Classic James and Thomas, and this is the second round or second match of the tournament so far. Looks like these runners are pretty much neck and neck so far. We're pretty much going to see the runners just exploring their way through floor 1, just picking random doors, trying to find their way through floor 2. Finding Foresight is a big cluster of doors, so it's really just going to be luck at this point who finds their way through Foresight first.
Now I missed it. Did any of them actually travel behind the hotel to see the boss?
I don't think any of them have talked to the Hint Man yet, so we don't know what bosses we got today.
It looks like. Oh, I thought neerm was going that way.
Yeah, so for anyone wondering, what we were talking about, the Hintman are programmed in this randomizer to tell you what all the bosses will be throughout the run, as well as what floor you're on. So if you find a Hitman after taking a skip, it's very helpful to tell you where you are, and it's very helpful if you can find a Hitman to find out what the bosses will be, so you can kind of plan accordingly. Especially if you can, if you're going to be expecting some hard bosses, maybe Electrospectre or Nessa's Nightmare or Carbon Dog later on, you can kind of prepare accordingly before you actually fight them and find out. Flanders there on the left, entering the museum and realizing that it's the department store. The department store of Tucson has no doors in there, so it might be worth going in to explore, to see some of the shops, but otherwise there's no doors or anything.
Right, and one of the best ways to know if you're actually walking into the Foreside department store is that you should get the dialogue from the department store.
We did see neerm on the right there just hit the exit or the hint man, and no carbon, no doggo seed today. This is the floor 8 boss is just a kraken. He went by a little fast. Saw a clumsy robot in there, an asp. So no really tough bosses, but kraken can still do some damage. But by floor 8, I imagine they'll be prepared by then. So they can pretty much just swing through these floors pretty quickly. Just a kraken. So neerm has found a potential area where it's going to progress forward. He found that Dungeon Man room where there's 5 total doors. You got the 4 ropes on the top, as well as the hospital room at the bottom. So 5 doors to explore, and it's very likely that is the way forward with a big cluster of doors like that. Flanders has found a skip on the left, though, and he has the ruler. So he didn't need to even get any items or anything, so Flanders is already past floor 1. We'll have to wait and find out what floor he's on.
That's is a risky strategy. Just like you take a skip and then you see another skip, like, oh, I'm gonna grab this one too.
But it looks like he saw a UFO and some sprouts. It's very likely, judging by those enemies, he's on either floor 3 or floor 4. And checking out the other skip, let's see what he's got on the other side. Oh no, he just skipped. He took a skip right into another skip. I see. So he entered from the back side and went into the left room to check where that was, and that went into about floor 3 or floor 4. And we're not sure where he is now.
There
Likely
is
2 floors beyond floor 3 or floor 4. We'll see.
Yeah, but there's also a hitman here in the Lam. No, sorry, not the Lam. Scaraba.
Yeah, in Scaraba, down by those pyramid doors. He could walk south. I'm not sure if Flanders is aware of that, but there's a hitman down to the southwest side of the left pyramid. He could find out what floor he's on. Judging by those presents, though, if they're protoplasms, we know exactly where he is. He's about floor 3. If those are department store style enemies, he's on about 6. He's found a full heal. That'll be nice as he's grinding to try and equalize himself for the floor he's at. Flanders over there on the left. So he might just keep note of that, and if he runs into a bad situation, he might be able to backtrack there. So he's found a buffalo. That leans more towards floor 6, floor 7. He's somewhere pretty far along, though. Yeah, and the dungeon man, the south door is turned off. It actually doesn't go anywhere. You can take the door if you're coming from Dungeon Man, from the Scaraba Desert. You can use the key to skip right to here, but it's a one-way skip. So unless you have an exit mouse or you death warp back, it's a one-way passage. So I just noticed that Flanders has the splits signifying that he's on floor 5. Is that just because he's guessing, Quattro, or did he actually hit a hitman? I didn't notice.
I missed that too. Maybe he feels confident that he is on floor 5. Like maybe he saw an enemy and was like, okay, usually see these enemies here. Once you start running it so often, there are specific enemies that seem more likely to show up on certain floors than others. Like, for floors like 3, floors 2 and 3, you can kind of see, like early 2, you'll see like sharks, and like around maybe early 3, late 3, you'll see a lot more cultists, you know. And over time, you learn which enemies start to show up in certain areas.
Neerm taking on the floor 1 boss, Captain Strong. Should be a pretty quick fight for him. A couple freezes, maybe even one freeze if it's decent damage and he's down. There we go.
Now, see, if Flanders was able to see what that present is as far as an enemy, he can actually learn from there too. Because you start getting to a floor where you start seeing the dice, or what's the name? I'm still bad with names, of course. But they're not like.
Are you talking about the loaded dice?
The loaded dice, or anything that you normally see in like vanilla Earthbound, like Magic Hand. And not like presents that are like coffee mugs or records or.
Neerm passing by the mole on the right side you just saw there. That mole, he could take that opportunity to take him down with some freezes if he wanted to play a little risky for some nice experience, but he's just opts to just bypass.
Flanders taking another skip.
Wow, he's finding skips everywhere. Where'd he get a king banana? Where'd he get all this stuff?
Like,
that's a great skip room though that he just found.
Oh well, yeah, that is pretty good. One of the issues though with skipping though is that once you take a skip, you have to be extremely confident, or else you're gonna go the wrong way, or you're gonna backtrack. You're gonna completely lose exactly where you are, yeah. And it happens a lot.
I don't know if Flanders is aware, but the room that he just passed, the Dr. Andonut's lab, that cave boy has a shop, and he didn't even check it. I'm Oh gosh, and he finds another skip room. He is just finding himself in a maze of skips, and even I'm not sure where he is anymore. I think if he had taken that one, he'd be about 4 skips deep already.
At this point, with all these skips, though, he's just kind of like going. It's like he'll go up 5 floors, go back 2 floors, go up 1 floor, or not 1 floor, go up 3 floors, go back 4 floors. You know, at this point, it's hard to tell where.
With that arachnid, I think he's either on floor 7 or floor 8, though. Maybe like the early stages of floor 8 or late floor 7 is my guess.
Another easy way to tell from floors if he actually comes across one. Presents, specific presents start showing up too. Like when you see like C pendants or star pendants, you know you're above 6. Um, they only really show. Actually, they only really show on 8. Like I think you can get lucky with a C pendant on 7, but that's rare. I rarely see it.
Chaz was mentioning that the earliest a C pendant can show up is on floor 6. It's rare, but that's the earliest it can show up.
Okay.
But yeah, realistically, floor 7 or floor 8 is where you're going to start finding high-end pendants to carry you through the final boss. So neerm opting to take these side paths out to look for presents. So the side path he went in this Stonehenge base is just a path for a present. He's still on floor 2, so really not any kind of like end game gear he could find. Maybe he's looking for a Franklin badge or something. Could always be valuable if he finds a Franklin badge or something like that this early.
I normally never try on 2 for a Franklin badge. For a Franklin badge, it's not necessarily needed to beat Gygas. In fact, a lot of people now kind of just beat Gygas without it.
Flanders on the left getting a very, very close call on that run. He had 10 health left on Ness.
Those late game mice are just like... There are specific enemies now where I specifically also like dodge. Like any late game diamonds, I'm like, nope. Mice, like late game mice or foppies, no. Get away from it.
I think it's very easy, or I would say it's very fair to say that like if you are not roughly like equalized on your level after you've taken a skip, taking multiple enemy fights is always scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Single enemy solo or something like that, you can much more reliably get through it or run or just deal with the situation. But as soon as it's 2 or more enemies, it's a crapshoot sometimes if you've taken a big skip.
These guys here, the electro guys, or the electric guys, they get kind of tricky too in Ancient Cave, in that you kind of lose track of which ones you fought. So some sprites, and you have to really tell by color of the sprites now, where one of them, when you cast like Freeze Beta, it should kill them like 1 or 2 hits, but the other one actually has a magic reflect on. So it eventually just comes like you have to understand what kind of enemies you're dealing with. You know. He's got Jeff dead now, which is not really too much of a...
Ooh, and Flanders finds a C pendant there in Magicant. Great pickup.
Okay, so he's at least above 6.
So one option he has here in Magicant, he could go through the little loop area. That loop area, I mean, it's a one-way path, but it does have like 5 presents. And if you've taken a big skip like this, oh, you got some bears and cave boys swimming out in the water. If you've taken a big skip like this, those presents are invaluable.
They're just having fun, dude.
neerm on the right, just encountering the floor 2 boss.
Release the chicken.
It may feel like that all of a sudden Flanders has this huge advantage because he's already on floor 7 or floor 8 or wherever he is. We're still not sure quite yet. But all it takes is for neerm to find 1 skip or Flanders to kind of struggle on a boss or something like that, and these runners will be very equal again. I mean, and even if Flanders happens to find Gygas first or something like that, it may be more difficult for him because he didn't progress normally and he hasn't hit all these floors and didn't find all the equipment. Whereas if Nerm takes a different route and ends up finding some different gear, he may be better equipped to fight Gygus when he finds him. So I
Right.
mean, this is totally up in the air still.
Like, just to call out Ari in chat, Ari has had situations where he's gotten to Gygus pretty early and then spend 40. That could just happen. So if Flanders actually ends up doing that, and then wasting so much time on Gygus, Nerm can eventually.
So I'm not sure if I don't even know if Nerm has found a skip room yet. So he's just progressing normally as if there were no skips in any of these previous floors. Sometimes it just happens like that, where he just found a skip like that. He said if he has a picnic lunch, he'd be able to get through there. But sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Sometimes you pick left and the other guy picked right, and you find the skip and the other one didn't. But usually it equalizes by the end, and you're able to find some skips to get there if they exist. Unfortunately, there's really no skip items at this bakery. He could pick up a skip sandwich DX if he had the money for a skip sandwich monkey skip, but unfortunately nothing there. I think he was looking for the picnic lunch.
Some nice backdrops for a lot of these.
So Flanders is just kind of electing just to explore very minimally, kind of doing a breadth first search, if you will, of all these doors and staying close to that full heal while he equalizes his level where it should be.
See, they're also just using base Earthbound sprites, which is upset. Although shoutouts to Paula being a boat.
So Nerm finding another potential skip, but he doesn't have the item for it again. So he's just gonna keep going normally.
Yeah, that's one of the tricks that you can do if you feel comfortable with. Well, it's not really comfortable versus like feeling uncomfortable. It's just if you manage to hit a shop that has a lot of the items that you can use for skips, like wet towels, double burgers or hamburgers, skip sandwiches. You try to at least pick up enough that you know you can use them for skips, just in case you come across them by chance. And just give them to the character you know you're not going to put items on. Like maybe Pooh. Have Pooh carry all your skip items.
You notice on the left, Flanders just picked up or found another Earth Pendant, so he's slowly gearing up with all the great items that you could find. But the one disadvantage of sometimes of taking the skip onto a far floor is you could end up exploring that floor a lot because you don't know where forward is and you don't know where backward is. For all you know,
Exactly.
You could have skipped one room from the end and you spend the entire time backtracking towards the beginning of the floor. And then it can be frustrating because then you have to find your way back and you kind of get lost again. So hopefully Flanders is working his way forward through this floor, not backward, because we really have no way of knowing that until he finds one of the sanctuary rooms.
A way to kind of handle that is if you know how to use the exit mouse correctly. So in Ancient Cave, what an exit mouse now does is that you can mark a specific place on Ancient Cave. So like if you walk into a room, you're like, okay, I want to be able to teleport back to this place instead. You just use the exit mouse, you'll have the options mark and go. Marking it sets that spot, so whenever you use that mouse, it takes you to that spot instead of, I think it's like normally, I think because you don't mark it now, it takes you back to home if you use it. But it's a useful system. Sometimes people use it for Gygus, like if they stumble upon the Gygus floor or the Gygus room without being prepared. They're like, okay, let me mark this, let me go look, find some items, and find a good save point, and just exit mouse back.
One other way sometimes to tell is whether you're going forward or backward on the floor, although this is much more subtle, is the difficulty of the enemies. The difficulty of the enemies changes as you progress through a floor, as you can kind of notice the enemy difficulty increasing or decreasing as you progress. You can kind of gauge that, but sometimes it's tricky, even if you're looking at enemy difficulty to really tell.
That also helps to figure out if you're, eventually about to reach Gygus, because sometimes, like, once you start reaching to a room where it's just like nothing but octahedron type character or type enemies, then you're pretty much. And also, like, you'll see a lot more dinosaurs as well.
neerm was found a sewer room. Is this could be the boss room? Yeah, this is the boss room that he found. So he's found the boss of floor 3. I forget which one it is, but again, you're looking at the list very briefly, as I believe Flanders found it. I forgot who found it, but looking at the boss list very quickly, the only ones that really stood out as being difficult are maybe floor 8. So he should be okay for this.
Oh yeah, this is not a bad boss. Just like a freeze beta should get. If not one, then two.
See, and it's still hard to gauge who's really in the lead right now, because Flanders has been on floor 7 for about, since he's taken that first skip, it's been about, I don't know, 15 minutes since he found a boss or something along those lines. So it's really hard to tell how he's progressing through this floor or not. And neerm is just slowly working through these floors one by one. Finds a nice full heal after that boss fight. He probably didn't really feel like he needed this full heal, but he really wanted that item back there. And looking at the enemy difficulty, it feels like Flanders' enemy difficulty has been increasing. So if I had to guess, it feels like he is progressing through this floor, especially with that magic ant enemy. And based on that enemy, I think he's on floor 8.
Oh, you mean Flanders?
Yeah, did I say neerm? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, it looks like he's dealing with some enemies. I really need to see the octahedron characters, because like he got into one. I missed it. It was like it should have been like a mook or like a
Well, he fought some diamonds, but it was the pink hill diamonds, like the Tengu and the cloud.
Oh, right. It's got to either be late 7 or early 8, or he's got 7. I'm guessing 7.
We're about to find out, because he just found the boss.
Okay.
He's Paula's dead. This is a gamble if he's gonna go for this. If I were in that situation, I tend to play it very safe when I take big skips like this. But then again, that's why I don't get those top tier times, because I'm very risk averse. But if this pays off for him and he's able to get through this with a dead Paula, that's very significant. And if it's floor 8, he's dealing with Kraken. I don't know if he has enough damage for Kraken. So he's on floor 7.
He did a smart thing anyways. He marked right before the boss, just in case he didn't. Okay, he should. There's no way this boss should be.
Yeah.
Why is this a 7th floor boss?
I don't know. If he were on floor 8 and that was the Kraken boss, I would have my doubts about him getting through that. But
oh, absolutely.
I guess he'd do better than we did what floor he was on. But that was a great risk, and definitely.
Floor 8 boss be shattered, man.
interesting that Flanders is fighting these cave boys and the bears on floor 8. I didn't know they could show up on floor 8.
Oh yeah, they're kind of consistent throughout. I guess because if I do recall, people talk about for at least the vanilla Earthbound is that like cavemen can like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Where like they are like for an example, they are a specific speed when you first see them, but when you come back later, they're faster.
Yeah, just two versions of them. I wasn't aware of that. I thought they were all the same. But Flanders on the left just found a nice little present room and found an MBR multi-bottle rocket for Jeff. That might be extremely useful for Gygus, but unless you find like a rabbit's foot or you roll into a really nice speed amount for Armored Pokey and he's got low speed, you can actually deal some damage. I found that multi-ball rockets aren't very reliable for Gygus. I mean, it's all a toss-up, but if I were Flanders, I feel like me being me, I would probably end up firing that at Kraken for this floor 8 boss.
Oh,
unless he finds another seller. But yeah, if he maybe if he finds a rabbit's foot, he might hold on to it for the Gygus fight. That's definitely an option if he's able to pull that off.
It's still quite inconsistent even with the rabbit's foot, which is weird. Like using the MBR, if you use an MBR for Gygus at all, you kind of just like want to use it early. Like I normally use it for poke, because I rarely see it connect at all for Gygus.
Flanders is just dealing with a lot of tough fights as he's working his way through these floors. He's really just not geared up well. He hasn't found a lot of good armor for his character, so he's taking a lot of damage on these hits. And his damage output is pretty minimal right now, as Pooh's psychic points down to 7, Nest down to 21, and Paula dead. He's just really struggling to output damage for some of these fights.
This is one of the issues of like taking a skip if you're not prepared.
I mean, taking a skip, I mean, it's pretty much always worth it. It's just sometimes it's tough dealing with it.
Yeah, it's a risk. Yeah, don't go ahead and take those 2 manly fish fights. That would be absolutely bad for you.
Those fish fights are some of the worst, because every single time I forget which one is resistant to freeze, and I always pick wrong.
That's why I always just see like if there's one manly fish, I'll fight it because most likely it's the one that isn't resistant. But if it's 2, I'm like, okay, this.
So neerm on the right, making his way through Belch's base. You got about 5 doors in this room that you just got to work your way through. Just picking up some gear along. Hopefully, I'm hoping that neerm is able to find a skip to either floor 8 or floor 9 from here. Just because he's had bad luck, and all the skips that he has found, he just doesn't have the items to be able to take them. Flanders on the left, finding the pizza store. Pizza store is actually pretty valuable if you are thinking you might not be able to get through that first rock-in that comes from Gygus. You can just call up for the pizza and get a large pizza from the delivery guy, and it's actually very valuable. It's a nice heal on everybody, and if you queued up with like the right person, and it goes after Gygus's rock-in, it can be a nice recovery heal on everybody.
It's such a good item for like you would think like an ancient cave for like ancient cave versus like vanilla, like some items actually become more valuable.
Flanders finds a the Happy Happy Village shop, which is a shop essentially that's free, and he's just loading up on bottles of DX water to give to Pooh. Bottles of DX water restore, what is it, about 40 psychic points on Pooh? And like 5 on everybody else. They're extremely valuable for damage output and for keeping yourself alive for the Gygas fight and for later on.
Oh, one thing to note though for the large pizza, even though using the large pizza helps, Pooh doesn't really like pizza. So eventually, if he takes a big hit himself, you're still probably gonna have to hit.
Yeah, Pooh's picky and doesn't like anything. So that room that Flanders just entered, I think he didn't even bother going forward because oh, he just got lucky and found the floor 8 boss. Okay. But if you progress through the Runaway 5 room and you come back, you're gonna have to watch the show and spend about 2.5 minutes doing so. So he just decided to explore these other rooms first before even bothering with that. But he's already found the floor 8 boss. That room with the into the cave from Happy Happy Village is the floor 8 boss, or Kraken.
This is a bad fight, though.
Yeah. I don't know if he's aware, but this is a fight that you... Oh, he doesn't know Hypnosis Omega. So you can... Both of these enemies are vulnerable to Hypnosis. And if all the enemies are asleep or paralyzed, it's a guaranteed run. Ooh, and he barely gets out. So yeah, I think Flanders is just praying that he finds some kind of full heal in one of these rooms. Even not wanting to take that chest right there and take the fight, even though it could be an extremely valuable item and is only just a few steps over, he's valuing his his fighting ability over any kind of chest that he could find. And the slime bursts into flames. Neerm just slowly progressing through floor 4. I imagine he's getting pretty close to the floor 4 boss at this point. Oh, nice. He's gonna buy a couple vials of serum to get rid of the poison. Nice. I don't know if he might not have known what that vial of serum did. I think he was guessing, because he checked the help text on it to see what it actually did. And looks like he was right. So he was using that because he doesn't have the psychic points to heal that poison. So that was a nice little find.
Now the thing to know on Flanders, this is a situation that some people can take. If you're still uncomfortable, it's fine. He has a save point in the tent. One of those doors took you to a winter's run that had like a phone. What he could do is, if he feels comfortable, save there. Since he has Jeff alive, walk into the Kraken fight. Hope that the MBR does any good damage.
Yeah, he could just gamble on the multi-bottle rocket damage, but again, yeah, if he hasn't saved for a while, and that multi-bottle rocket doesn't output enough damage, he's not gonna get that back.
He needs to stop taking these mood fights, dude.
It's gonna be the death of him. And this room that he's in, this is a dead end. If he has the eraser, he can get through, but that's just one of those skip locations. I think he wants to get that present down on the southwest side to see what it is. A magic tart. That might be a little helpful. That's a restores 20 psychic points. Oh my gosh, he's just gonna go after this Kraken fight. Oh my god. Not even healing before. Oh my goodness. He's just gonna reset. Maybe he didn't remember what the fight was, or I'm not sure. I guess he did just save pretty recently. I think it was Flanders who found the Hitman and found out all the bosses, or maybe it was Neerm. Regardless, he got into the fight and realized he wasn't ready for it. Over on Neerm's side, getting into a nasty fight, this coffee is one of the worst enemies in the game. Is he gonna get this run off? Ah, and Neerm wipes to the coffee. That attack that the coffee does is essentially a fire alpha. And anytime that enemies are doing damage to everyone in your party, it's not a fun time. Just because the animations are slow, and it means the damage actually happens, because by the time the last person takes the damage, the first person has pretty much taken all the damage that from the attack. So neerm is gonna have to recover from that, get back. He didn't go back too far, because he was just here just a minute or so ago, so it wasn't too much of a loss. He did lose all of his party members and everything, but he didn't really lose much progress. We're gonna see Flanders still try to recover, still try to get. He just needs to get his party members, or maybe he saved pretty close to Kraken. I'm wondering if it's worth just trying to get lucky on an MBR roll and seeing if you can kill Kraken that way. Kraken only has a little over 1,000 HP. So I wonder if it'd be worth just going or trying for it. MBR outputs enough damage so you can move on to floor 9.
All right.
Because, I mean, his save location is just a couple rooms away from the boss.
By floor 8, like, Kraken's not really that scary. I mean, he could be kind of terrifying if he opens up with the wrong move. But, and if you have 2 party members wiped. But, like, by 8th floor, it should be easier to handle. Sometimes you could see Kraken as early as, like, floor 4.
neerm on the right getting into just a rough fight with those slimes. Those slimes are unrunnable fights. And as soon as they start calling for help and you're crying and you can't hit anybody, I mean, you may as well just call it. You're not going to kill anything. It's just a really rough time if you don't have the freezes to back it up. Yeah, neerm is just in a tough spot because the save location is not near a heal, and he's just trying to get through this area. He's trying to stutter the slime. No dice. Oh gosh, he's just getting so unlucky with these calls for help. And then over on Flanders' side, just starting the Kraken fight. My guess, the only way he's getting through this fight is if he does the MBR. That has to be the strat he's going for, yeah. 1171 didn't do it. Oh, but the attack follow-up kills it. And he's on to floor 9.
Nice.
But still, I mean, Ness has got like 20 psychic points, and Jeff is essentially useless now, so he really needs to find a full heal.
Oh, absolutely.
Finds a heavy bazooka though. That makes Jeff no longer non-useless.
That's a good way to start off a floor 9. For people who don't know, the difference between a bazooka and a heavy bazooka is that a bazooka is an item that Jeff carries that you can use in battle over and over again. It behaves like a bomb. A heavy bazooka acts like super, and super bombs in Ancient Cave have shown their value. Like, they are actually, if you come across anything that does sell a super bomb, you're like, okay, I need to make the money. If I can go to an ATM, have enough money, I could buy these, and I should be good for the rest.
On a side note, I love that neerm's Ness character is a snake. I like that a lot. So getting very unlucky with these red swirls. Ooh, that first round run.
Legendary bat pickup for Flanders. Ain't a gutsy bet, but it'll help.
So Flanders has, it's debatable. With his current gear, he could take on Gygus. It would be risky. He has a Sea Pendant and an Earth Pendant. Ideally, he would like a little bit more than that, because he really doesn't. I guess he has the Heavy Bazooka. I'm just, in my mind, I'm still looking for more gear to make Gygus safer as you're going along. Any side, if it were me, any side path or anything like that, I'm still looking for presents.
Right, because then it's just playing like luck game by turn 3. Because if you don't have the normal items that a speed run like Glitchless would say, like, oh, you need a Franklin badge for this. Since you don't have that Franklin badge, what you're doing during third turn is like hoping that he doesn't use lightning. So with at least one seed pendant and one earth pendant, that could work. He's man, just BA. Come on. An earth pendant and a seed pendant could work, but like you said, at least he has the damage from the heavy bazooka, so that way it should start whittling down the first and second.
Interesting, right there. So Flanders just found the South Winters room, and there's two doors in that room. There's the door entrance into Stonehenge and the door to the cave entrance to the north. And opted to just ignore it and just keep exploring. Maybe assume that was the way forward, and he wants to search for more gear. I'm not sure. But usually it's pretty safe to explore because there's the spawn. It's a very open area, and you can, if there are any spawns, it's very easy to despawn them and get to the next door. I'm curious about that.
He had 2 skip doors open. Did he recently do that, or did he open those up and never actually look?
Oh, were there 2 skip, or was there a monkey room with the monkeys already out of the way? Neerm flashing his menu out of excitement or something. Nice green swirl over on Flanders' side.
I mean, shout out to Flanders for sticking it out without any room benefiting as far as like any healing.
Yeah, Neerm is just having a really tough time in this Belch's base. It's a brave man taking this fight. Mostly because of the coffee.
This is the last.
And heal.
He's finally healed people.
My guess is he's gonna set an eggs mouse location for right here, because this is what he's been looking for a long time.
Steamy well, yeah.
And this Belgian base is just this is worse than even the regular game. Just the enemy difficulty. It's like department store, but 5 times worse. Yeah, and he's just gonna reset and start over. Yeah, Flanders came back to this Winter's room. I guess he wanted to fully explore Summers before he came through here.
Which it did work out in his favor.
Ooh, and he finds a star pendant. So now he's got 3 flash resistant items. And tons of DX water, a heavy bazooka. In my mind, Flanders is pretty safe just going for Gygas when he finds. Probably put like an earth pendant on Pooh and the other pendants on Ness and Paula, and just leave Jeff to heavy bazooka until he dies. At least that would be my strategy.
Some of the more safer strats too, if he comes across like maybe one Marcy or Star, like he can just load them all up with flash resistant. Sure, turn 3 is gonna take a lot longer because you're having to pray with Paula, and then Ness, Boo, and Jeff still have to go through their but it helps having like another person just in case Gygas wants to do a lightning attack, because now he's got like 4 kids to attack instead of like a lower amount, or just smaller.
What is through that left door, that neerm, that left to the pink pond? I'm unaware of what is through there.
I think he came from that way.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Nerm is not aware of this. So how this little lake works is it only restores status ailments. So if someone's dead, it'll revive them. If someone's poisoned or diamondized, it'll remove those status effects. But it will not restore HP, and it will not restore psychic points. Oh, if someone's dead and it revives them, it's a full heal. I did not know that.
Right, so if you're there and you already have a safe near that, what could happen is you can just be like, okay, botch this, I'm gonna take this fight, I'm gonna have everybody die, respawn from the most recent save where it's just Ness, res the other kids who should have PPs restored.
Ooh, and Flanders on the left has found the Gygus room.
Did he save? Has he saved recently?
I don't know.
He also has a ghost, which is not great.
Oh gosh. I'm just waiting for the really badly timed solidify. But a Chompasaur in the Gygus room, I like that. Because right, we're going back in time to fight Gygus. Back in time to the times of dinosaurs or something. But yeah, Flanders has Heavy Bazooka. He's got tons of bottles of DX water to restore Pooh Psyche points. He's got Star Pendant, Sea Pendant, and an Earth Pendant. So it should be relatively safe. But, I mean, regardless of how safe it is, these fights could go south very quickly, regardless of how prepared you are.
He's got some underleveled kids. Normally, you feel more comfortable doing this fight with, kids around like maybe 35 or so. It doesn't have to be. If you get everything that you had or you need for the fight before, and you have all your items and you come across Gygus, like, go for it. But if you're missing some stuff, you kind of want to try to at least get a few more levels just to see, because the next level could actually be a good boost in HP or whatever.
The Flanders, he's got the Sea Pendant on Ness and the Star Pendant on Paula. I'm not sure, I didn't get to see Jeff or Pooh's inventory. I'm not sure who the Earth Pendant is sitting on. I would imagine it's sitting on Pooh, but I'm not positive. But yeah, it looks like if Flanders can pull this off first try, it looks like we're going to see 2 sub-1s in back-to-back races. See if he gets alpha or beta. He gets the alpha. Could mean, oh, Paula, did Paula take mortal damage? I think Paula might have taken mortal damage right here, but he also healed Paula, so he's fine. And he got the paralysis, so as long as he can keep the shields up, he should be fine. But Paula is low on psychic points, so he's only going to be able to afford 1 more shield, Sigma, if he doesn't do any attacks with Paula. As soon as he does, then...
Yeah, he still has a magic truffle, though, if I do recall. So he at least has enough to fill her PP up.
It's a shame Paula doesn't know Magnet Omega, because both of these characters have psychic points that he could draw from. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to keep magneting with Paula to keep her psychic points up, and then use bottles of DX water on Pooh when he's getting low, just to keep himself safe. It means this first phase is going to go a little slower, but it should mean he's a little bit more prepared for phase 2 and phase 3.
This would go a lot slower if he didn't get that heavy bazooka.
Gosh, and Neerm on the right just dealing with brutal fight after brutal fight.
Alright, second phase for Flanders. Now, what he could do here too to make second phase a little bit more helpful, or a lot easier, or a little bit easier, is do a brain shock on Gygus. Gygus is acceptable to brain shock, which means he can hurt himself. Oh, he doesn't have any psychic ability or psychic points though. Oh, but I think
Oh, he had a
used the
bag of Dragonite. I didn't even see him pick that up. Bag of Dragonites can do a ton of damage, but I think Gygus has some fire resistance, so it doesn't do its full damage. To some enemies, the Bag of Dragonite can do as much as like 500 damage.
Jeff has become useless though.
Yeah, with Jeff paralyzed, the only thing he was good for was heavy bazookas. I guess when he's paralyzed, he can still spy, so he's not totally useless.
I mean, true. He can also take damage from a lightning if the Gygus decides to attack.
On the bright side, neerm finally made it out of Belch's base. On the non-bright side, he just got back attacked by an enemy hiding underneath the fence that he didn't see. Oh gosh, this is rough. I feel so bad. Flanders is through phase 2. So now all he's got to do now is keep Paula alive so she can throw out 9 prayers. The only thing that will be killing Paula is lightnings. But Paula only has like 110 HP, so it's very likely if Paula gets hit by a single lightning, Paula's dead.
Turn 1, solidify.
Got hit by 2 lightnings, but they both landed on Paula. Or both landed on Ness, so I think Ness is dead.
Ness is dead, yes.
Ooh.
Now, at this point, it's luck. He's gotta hope.
Maybe, does he have any revive items on Paula? He doesn't. So yeah, this is 100% pray to RNGesus, because if Paula gets hit with a lightning, Flanders is dead, and he's gonna have to do this entire thing over again.
This is a total of...
Yeah, that was only the 3rd prayer, so he has to go through 6 more prayers, dodging lightnings every single time.
Just 1 is dead. Good so far.
Yeah, like I said, like Paula could technically take 2 hits if the first roll is low, and then the second one is a gut save. So I mean, technically, if 2 lightnings connect, he might still survive, but more likely than not, a single lightning that connects and Paula's dead.
Right, and I mean, you can get lucky. You know, you could get like second to last turn gut save, or you could get 2 free turns.
I mean, he's getting lucky so far. We're on, I think that was the 5th prayer. He's got 4 left.
Oh, this is exciting.
I think that's like 3 turn skips in a row. We're down to like 3 prayers left. Oh my gosh, another one.
Oh god.
This is insanity. If Flanders pulls this off, this might be the luckiest Gygus fight I've ever seen in my life.
I actually had one similar like this earlier today. Or no, it was yesterday. Like everybody was dead and...
Oh, he got lightnings, but they both missed.
Oh, thank God. He should be good.
Yeah, even if lightnings connect this next round, he's gonna get the prayer off in time and he's done. So this is a win. Flanders gonna finish with the sub 55. Oh, the solidify.
It's okay. It won't really affect him too much.
And that is it. Flanders finishes with a 54-40.
Gee.
SRL time, he had a 54-50. Not sure where the discrepancy is, but holy crud, that might be the luckiest Gygus fight I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was five empty turns in a row from Gygus, from like prayers 2 through like 7.
Yeah, it was like 4 to 5.
My goodness.
Ooh, and then Nerm didn't really do well. He just kind of backtracked to the last four block.
Well, no, if he had backtracked, that would have been that shiny spot wouldn't have been there. So Nerm took a skip somewhere. He's not on floor 4 right now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Wowee. Two sub 1 runs. Back-to-back races. I might as well just forfeit now from this tournament.
I do also believe that Flanders was saying that he was feeling uncomfortable running against Nerm because Nerm dropped the 48 on, or it was like some point when Nerm ran the 48-minute Ancient Cave. So now I'm just gonna get on to Flanders about.
I still can't get over that Gygus fight. Paula was... Oh, man. I would have been sweating bullets that entire fight if I were Flanders.
That always gets you, man. Like when you have just Paula and like no one else, and you're like just trying to at least get Gyga's face down. It's like when you get all the good luck or you get like gut saves or whatever. It's the most gratifying. Like when you get, it's like second to last prayer, you get hit by 2 lightnings, but you gut save, and then the last prayer is a under 200 door transitions. Pretty cool.
So we're still not sure what floor... Oh, let's see. Oh, I didn't realize the stats were rolling over here. So only 34 fights Flanders had. Doing 3x damage that you take is pretty normal. 1 chicken freed, 5 L button,
Humane.
no problem here. Humane and valid.
Yes.
So if you're wondering that, no problem here's is just when you press L and there's nothing that you're interacting with, and it just says no problem here. And it's nine times out of 10 when it happens, it's due to overmashing. And it's just kind of fun to see how much someone is overmashing.
Yeah, especially like that in Ancient Cave with the ludicrous.
So based on the enemies that Nerm was facing, I think he's on like floor 7, maybe floor 8, somewhere around there.
I haven't seen any fights yet. I'm just watching that one, which is a script.
I enjoy the little in-place circles from Nerm. He does have the pyramid door to the south, maybe what he's looking for. Oh wait, we saw Flanders come through this area, right?
Yeah, this is 7.
I think Flanders came in through the pyramid, didn't he?
He did come through the pyramid.
Yeah, this is the skip that Flanders took to get here from this room. I think this is the one that he checked both sides. And he ultimately went through here, I think.
Yeah.
And that left one went back to, by our guesses, like floor 3, because we saw some like zombies or something pretty quick.
It should take him back to, I think, if I do recall. Yes, okay, yeah, that's floor.
So I'm not sure if neerm is aware of this hint man either. But yeah, just to his west, there's a dude to the south of the pyramid, and he's a hint man. He'll tell you all about this floor. And that dog that he walks by is a shop too, so he missed a shop and the hint man. I say I don't know if there's anything valuable there, or if neerm's aware of it and he's just looking for other things first. But so he's just scavenging these shops, maybe looking for one of those skip items that was in that previous room, or some decent gear or something like that.
Yeah, that's what he's.
You're always hoping for some kind of revive item. Secret herbs are always nice. Bottles of DX waters, super bombs. Those are kind of general things you're looking for. At least when I hit these shops, something you can stock up on.
He's gonna be real disappointed. Because now he's on floor 1.
In case anyone was wondering, though, the bracket portion of this tournament is a double elimination. So neerm is not eliminated from this tournament. He will be sent down to the losers bracket, but ultimately he still has a chance of winning this tournament if he can make his way out of the losers part of the bracket. Because ultimately it's the winner of the losers bracket versus the winner of the winners bracket. And it's just that the winner of the winners bracket gets the advantage that they only have to win once, whereas the winner of the losers bracket has to win twice. Oh, and neerm, is he gonna have time to get another try on the run? No, he's not. He's gonna go down. There's a reason that the department store is one of the biggest death points in glitchless runs, just because those coffees and those records are just, they're awful. So neerm has got forfeited from the race. He had a really rough time in there in Belch's base, and it was I think it was just a combination of his save location and having to go through Belch's base every single time and deal with those very heavy enemies. He just kind of got unlucky and unfortunately put himself in a bad situation that you can't really foresee happening once you wipe once. And just dealing with those heavy enemies and only having one character alive and not being able to get through anywhere to get characters revived or get psyche points back or anything like that. It was just a struggle.
Yeah, maybe if he had any of those skip items earlier, he probably could have been on the same pace as. But I think Flanders ended up hitting like a shop at the beginning, or got lucky with some of the gifts, to where he had some items. Because he had all of them. He had burgers. He had a wet towel. He had a king banana. He pretty much had like every single skip item.
All right, so the status of the tournament. So this is so neerm, like I said, is going to be sent down to the round 2 of the losers. He'll be playing the loser of, or no, the winner of Jonte, or aka Thomas, and then the loser of Quattro or you Quattro and Airfram, eventually.
Yeah.
But for the rest of this round of the winners bracket, we have Aureliux versus Classic James, Andy Perfect versus Daniel RGT, and Quattro versus Airfram. So a lot of great races coming up in these coming days. I imagine we'll probably breeze through these matches pretty quickly since there's only 9 people there here in the bracket stages. So keep an eye on this channel. The races will keep happening pretty consistently.
And be sure to catch the Andy Perfect versus Daniel because the any percent run at Limit Break is on the. This is very important.
I wish. No, Daniel's gonna be running 90%. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching. It was a fun race, and we will see you all next.
Have a good night.